Yesterday in the press conference, today is February 16th, 2017. So I'm talking about the press conference that was the day after Valentine's Day. Towards the end, an African-American woman, I don't know if she was African-American because I couldn't see her face, but I assume she was based on her questions and based on the exchange with Mr. Trump, asked her about what he was going to do with inner cities, and they had a very nice exchange, and it was the most friendly question of the reference. The rest of them just went on and on and on about how this, Russian that, Russian this, about 5 times, as I said, and they were put up to it, and they're ruses. And I will just say right now that these people are traitors to the country. The military-industrial complex, if we're not careful, will spin us into oblivion, and we'll lose our government. We'll wind up just like the Russians, with no government. With no government. No Social Security, no nothing. And we'll all have to start all over again. And millions of Americans will die. Millions of Americans will take whatever painkillers they have on hand. Millions of Americans will hang themselves, shoot themselves in the head. Millions of Americans will drink themselves to death. Because what happened in Russia, when they collapsed, was their average age of a male went from 73 when the Soviet Union fell to 57. 73 to 57. That means millions of people died. Millions of people died. That was the greatest, that was Holocaust proportions of death there. And the same thing will happen to us if we lose our dollar, if we lose our empire. We need to protect our empire. And to do that, we need to be judicious with our money. Okay? This is already being threatened. Iran is already going to stop using dollars for their oil, and they're going to get away with it. Nobody's going to attack Iran. Mr. Trump is doing this. He's putting pressure on them, and he wants to change the Iranian situation, but he's not going to beat. If we can't beat Afghanistan, how are we going to beat Russia? Please ask yourself that. Okay? Please ask yourself that. Okay, I'm done with that. I don't like these people. I'll make that clear. Let's get to something positive. Mr. Trump and Mr. Sanders, I could have voted for either one of them. I only voted for one of them. I did not vote for Mr. Sanders during the primary. I didn't vote for him. I don't like he's a hawk. I didn't like it when he said something about Putin wouldn't be successful, and he said some stuff. I don't like him. I think he's too, I think he's got Zionist tendencies, and even though he's done some stuff that makes me seem like he's a good guy, I didn't like that. So I didn't vote for him. And that's part of that whole thing where I vote for winners. I don't vote for losers. Okay? But towards the end of but I am still a Sanders-Trump voter. If it would have been a Sanders-Trump campaign, I don't know honestly who I would have voted for. I really don't. Can't say. Because I'm a free thinker, as you probably may have gathered. I think for myself. So let's keep going. What do they agree on? Both of them say that we should have infrastructure. Both of them think that we should do something about Obamacare. And both of them say that our kids don't have jobs, and there's a student loan crisis. Both of them say that. So they could sit down and work those things out amongst themselves. They could sit down and talk it out. Now I know that if that happened, that would elevate Mr. Sanders above that. But let's face it, Mr. Sanders is the intellectual leader of the Democratic Party. he is the intellectual leader of the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi is a wingnut idiot. She's the one who said that, well, let's pass this bill so we can find out what's in it about Obamacare. If you've seen her, she's just stupid. Now, Chuck Schumer, he may be a good leader. I'm not saying that. I don't know the guy. I haven't seen enough of him to know anything about him. I don't know. But he's a leader, but he is not popular, as he might be popular in New York, but nobody knows him in West Virginia. Nobody knows him in Texas. Nobody knows him in California. Nobody knows him anywhere. But people know Mr. Sanders. So they could sit down and work out these things and build a coalition to get this stuff through. Okay? Now, if he chooses to do it his way, where he said he was going to introduce bills and so forth, and they continue to be confrontational, where it's Republicans and against Democrats, I'm not going to be for this. Okay? I don't like this. I think they should work together. They should build a coalition because we have serious problems. Like I said, we could lose our dollar. We could lose our empire. We could be like England, beggars getting money from the IMF. It happened to England. It happened to England. It can happen to us. Okay, I'm not no expert in finance and all that crap. I don't know. I just know it happened to England and it can happen to us. Out.